crew of us, we used to patrol the hood. And we would see all the older homies capping all them. We'd just see them out there and we knew who they were. You know, you got big homies that don't know who you are, but you waiting to get to the age where you can really approach and hang out. That's how it was when we see Cap and them hanging out. We was little homies wanting to hang out with the big homies, but we just wasn't old enough to hang yet. So we mimicked a lot of the shit that they did.
What year you met Cap?
I met Cap, it was around 19. Well, I had already known Cap, but he just didn't know me. So the first looks at Cap was when he got out the penitentiary back in, I believe. The crew of us, we used to patrol the hood. And we would see all the older homies capping all them. We'd just see them out there and we knew who they were. You know, you got big homies that don't know who you are, but you waiting to get to the age where you can really approach and hang out. That's how it was when we see Cap and them hanging out. We was little homies wanting to hang out with the big homies, but we just wasn't old enough to hang yet. So we mimicked a lot of the shit that they did. You know, we'll watch, listen, they'll throw their meetings, we'll throw ours. The big homies got a meeting, the little homies, we got our meetings. And at that time, the homie Lil Nut threw the meetings for the Tiny Lokes. We was the original Tiny Lokes.
Right.
See, you got the babies, the littles, and the bigs, but really the babies is the dudes that's in big keita Rocc in them generation. They Lil Lokes, you know, and then we came a little bit after them, you know, but that's how that 6'0" crippin' was for me, man. You know what I mean? Being loyal to this shit, to this game. Staying loyal all the way through, no matter where I ended up at. Whether it was the penitentiary, the streets, whatever. We just did it for real and not for protection. You know what I mean? Now they doing it for protection, or they doing it for the wrong reasons.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If it ain't about $1, then you ain't a homie, you know, and that ain't how it was. I remember the days when we didn't have nothing, we all put it together just to buy a quota of Old English, and that didn't cost you nothing but $1 in the quota.
Right.
You know what I mean? They was putting together 25 cents, 50 cents, trying to piece it up, you know? But yeah, that's what it was real.
What influenced you to start cripping?
Well, for me, it was my Uncle Ricky. When I was a kid, he used to take me to Centinela Park with him, you know. At the time, he was into that athleticism, so he was playing basketball a lot. And when I would get up to the park, Took and them would be up there. You know, they had their dogs and their weights and shit out there. And I was real young, and I remember looking and saying, damn, who was those dudes right there? And I later found out that those were the Crips. And all of them had, all of them had muscle, you know. So I used to always say, I want to be one of them. You know, I want to be one of them. So that's what it was. I was low-key crippin'. Then I met Big Looney and Big Waco and them up on the hill. That was before they was Looney and Waco. It was Charleston Blue and Crazy Wayne. And Big Maniac Pricey, resting in peace. When I met them, then the introduction was official. I became a Rollin 60. Even so far back as 1978, I can recall. That's when Big Looney got hit by that train. When he was in Daniel Freeman Hospital and everybody was trafficking up there to scene. And I was one of the guys, even though I was hella young, I was on the scene to back up the first team. Real talk.
How was the LAPD back in the days? Were they
Back in the 70s, the late 70s, my recollection of LAPD wasn't how it is today. I mean, they was there doing their dirt, but the patrol through the neighborhood wasn't as heavy. They didn't have a heavy influence, because I remember back in those days, you could walk down the street broad daylight with a sawed-off shotgun. You know how I know? I did it. Didn't give a damn. And you didn't really have a lot of police back then pushing up on you, unless somebody called them.
Right.
They wasn't just patrolling, jumping out, throwing you down as much as they do now, unless it was something that happened. It had to be something that happened, man, like a murder or something like that. But back in those days, murders wasn't that popular as they became later in the years, you know. You had them, but you didn't have them like every day. People get knocked down, knocked off corners and shit like that back then. The influence of the cops for me when it turned bad was in the early 80s. Maybe around 1981, 82. Because I went to camp in the early 82, and I stayed there until 1983 until I went to the California Youth Authority. And I stayed in the California Youth Authority from 1983 to 1986. Then from 86, 87, I was out on the street and I went to the penitentiary in 1988. I stayed in the pen from 88 to 1992. I went right back in 1992, did a year violation. Got out in 93 and was back in 95 and got out in 2023. So most of my life I've been incarcerated.
when you got out? Were the 60's and A-Trade beefing? Or was it right?
60's and 8 trades when I got out of prison, or you mean when I went to camp? Before I went to YA in camp, the Rollin 60's was already beefing with the 8 trade gangsters. I believe that beef started in 1980 or 81. The dates can be conflicting with some versions of it, but I believe it was 1980, mid 80, early 81. Somewhere around that time.
You know, actually, I know him. So I believe you asked me a few questions, you know.
And you have any experience with Peddie Wacc?
Big Peddie Wacc?
Big Peddie Wacc.
Oh man, of course. Or Rodney Glaze. My first, for me, Rodney Glaze was the apex of what a Rollin 60 was supposed to be. You know, and I remember that. I remember when I first had the privilege to really indulge with Wacc is when he had the Rag 65. It was the Rag 65.
Oh, okay, yeah, 65.
Yeah, he had the 65.
Yeah.
And I remember he would roll back there to the back hood. You know, that's where I lived at.
Right.
I originally come from out the back hood,
Right.
presently known as the Overhills, but it's really the back hood.
Right.
Anything west of Crenshaw, going west, from in between Florence and Slauson, is considered the back hood at that time, you know, because we had to walk back. You know what I mean? Everybody else was in the Avs, you know what I'm saying? So when we walked back to our house, we called it walking back, so we called it the back hood. You know, we're going back to the back. Nevertheless, back to Wacc. So I wanted to ride around in the 5, man, and hang out. And to do that, you know, you had to be really willing to, you know, pack what you needed to pack, man, because we was riding for real. And Then we had early encounters in the youth authority. Me and Wack was in CYA together as well, you know, and that was an encounter. I remember being at SRCC and somebody said, man, yo, Big Peddie Wacc just pulled up. I couldn't wait to see him, man, and I finally got a glimpse of him. I'm like, Wack, what's up? He looked at me and said, what's up, my little nigga? You know, I'll never forget that. But me and Wack has maintained our contacts. You know, he's been through some turbulence, but you know, he's still all right with me, man. You know, call me all the time.
And, how about keita Rocc?
keita Rocc's my boy. I talked to him a couple of years ago when he was down there in Arizona in the penitentiary. He had a device where he can call out at the time, and I was in the penitentiary. We talked to each other a good while. But my early memories of Roccacino, I saw Roccacino, man. Another cut third word. Without Wack and keita Rocc, I don't think the Rollin 60's name, the notoriety, and the fame that came to the Rollin 60's, you cannot leave those two names off the board, man. Those were vessels. They were vessels, man, that led to the respect factor that the Rollin 60's obtained in those early years. So I love them both, man. I miss keita Rocc. Can't wait to see him.
Cappuccino always mentioned this gentleman named Let Loose. Do you know of Let Loose?
The Mel Davenport. He's a real one. Lost his life, unfortunately. Love Let Loose. We got a lot of history together as well, from the streets and California Youth Authority. I remember years ago we was in Central Juvenile Hall together, and you had some A-Tray gangsters. You had Spike. You had Lala from ETG. And you had Gangsta Brown, Lil Fatty Daddy, and Let Loose had them all on fright. I'll never forget, man, the boy Joker called Let Loose out on a squabble, and you know what Let Loose told him? They don't call me Let Loose for nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And went to work. He was so smooth with it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you never know. You would never know that Let Loose was as hard as he was, man, because he was so playerish about it. He was real smooth and soft-spoken, but he was a beast. Love him and miss him, man. He was a real one.
Would you add BankerT to the list?
Lonnie Banker, 62. Of course. Man, now you know, that touched me there, man. Banker was another one that come from the back hood that when I was a kid, I used to always look at the walls and I seen this cursive writing BankerT, RSC. So I always say, man, I'm gonna be from Rollin 60's and I'm gonna write my name just like that. He was writing his name in cursive writing, BankerT, RSC. But me and Banker got a lot of history together, man. We hung out a lot, turned corners, gambled. I seen him go from low to high. He was just a beast, man. Yeah, I miss Banker.
How about Nikkie Bam?
Just a soldier, man. Soldier with a good heart, man. With a lion's heart. Fearless. I mean, a real worthy. I caught these. I mean, we talking about individuals, man, that for real, man, helped put this shit on the map. It should be acknowledged at this point, with the exception of keita Rocc and Peddie Wacc. These others that we speaking on, they resting in peace now, and they should never be forgotten, man. You know, but we don't talk about them enough, I don't believe. But they was real worthies, man. That Nikkie Bam was something else, man. You know, he was a real one, man. You know, and he was ready to go. You know why he was ready to go? He was trained to go.
Right.
You know, it's a difference.
I'm gonna give you a story about Nikkie Bam, right?
Yeah.
Check this out. Nikkie Bam always seen I had dogs, right? So he had a Rottweiler. I said, Nikkie Bam, I said, if that Rottweiler can't answer the phone, he ain't shit. Really, Nikkie Bam said, well, can your dog answer the phone? I said, yeah, Rex can answer the phone. You go get a beer out the store and do all that. And I took Nikkie Bam with me. I said, come on, you can ride with me. You think I'm playing? I went in and said, go give me a Coke 45. When my dog going in, bring the Coke 45, the man said, hey, the dog got a beer. I said, did he pay you? The man said, oh, man, you go with that again. I said, man, get out of here. So next time I came to Nikkie Bam's house, the phone rung. I said, can your dog answer? He told that Rottweiler to answer that phone. He picked that phone up. I said, ooh, I said, you're doing good. Made him sit in the car and stay. You know, Nikkie Bam was one of my partners too. I liked him. So the chosen few that I really liked it as they was coming up. You know.
Can I speak on a couple more individuals?
Do something.
So we had this crew, you know, when I was coming up. It was myself, Peanut, Lil Waco, my Uncle Cabu, Lil Looney, Lil Maniac, Lil Weasel, and Lil Wack. Wano used to come all the way from the ass to hang out with us, man. But we had our own little thing, man, where we wanted to be recognized as factors, man. So we had made a commitment to each other that no matter what, we was gonna hold the torch and we was gonna burn the flames, man. And we was gonna make sure we did it in a real way. And I can say for each one of us today that's still standing, we lost Lil Maniac in '84. We lost Lil Looney in '90. We lost Lil Waco in 2021. And now, you know, we have standing myself, Peanut, and Cabu. But out of our crew, you know what I mean? I just think that team of individuals that used to cross Crenshaw should be recognized, man. You know, I hear these dudes get these interviews all the time, Cap.
Yeah.
You know, and some of them ain't too authentic.
Right. Well, that's the reason why, man.
You know?
I don't let anybody get on my YouTube, man. You know,
Right.
you got to get on there with you know, with some sense, common sense.
Yeah.
I don't need all that, man. After this shit, hold up, bro. We don't need that, because when I was grew up, Crips and fight Crips.
Right.
Period. When I first heard that, I was like, what happened?
Yeah.
And then, you know, everybody was really against the hood all the time, you know, but,
Right.
you know, like I said, Crips and fight Crips, man, when I came up. And I kind of hated that when it started happening, but, you know, who can control that?
Yeah, that's a misfortunate situation, man.
Right.
You know, I always thought the ideal of it, because when you get to prison, you know, when you're on them 4 yards, it ain't really too much Crip fighting Crip, nothing.
No, none of that.
You know, the line is totally different.
Right.
So a lot of those dudes that I had thought was my enemy, because since I was a little younger, and I grew up in that era where Crips were fighting Crips, hey, when I found out that these same dudes that I thought was enemies was good,
They
was
what?
good dudes and solid just like I was, it made it more fun for me, man, because then it became a survival thing.
Right.
And it became us against everybody else.
That's right.
And that's for me, that's what it was about. Until I got into the Black Power situation where, you know, the AUC and Google, I started looking deeper into who I was as far as just being a black man, you know, along with my cripping. And it just took me to a whole another level.
Right.
I just saw things through different lenses, man. You know. But there's a lot of good dudes, or many good dudes, still locked up behind the walls.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, what does it mean to you to be a Rollin 60's, comparing to all the newcomers who just watch YouTube and all of a sudden they're 60's?
Well, at one time, man, I had a lot of pride, and it brought a lot of joy, man, being affiliated, associated, and rooted in the Rollin 60's. Today, it's a little bit different. You know, when I hear shit where a motherfucker tell me that you ain't a 60 until you kill one. Shit like that, man. Or, you know, the dissension is, it's not really about the hood as a whole. It's too many pockets of people here and there. These cliques and these cliches, you know, that don't involve the whole. So it takes away the joy, man. It makes you feel like, well, damn, man, all the sacrifice really was for nothing. So if you resurrect those that lost their life, man, they'll probably be like, man, this is the wrong game. They'll teach their kids or whoever, young homies or whatever it is, never to be a Rollin 60. Because what you see today, man, ain't how the Rollin 60's. How it started, man.
Nope.
These dudes have no respect. You know, it's like the shit with Mad Funeral, you know. Right after that, they out there fighting and shooting. I don't care what the goddamn reason was. It shouldn't have happened on that day.
Right.
You know, whatever that was about. And I'm here to say it shouldn't have happened. You know, and a motherfucker know, had I not been like this, you know, I'd have been out there on something else, man, about respecting the homie, man, while we celebrate his passing. You feel me? These dudes is weak. They act like they somebody. They lying about everything. And it's just not how the Rollin 60's function, man. Not the real ones, man. You see, you know, we pull up on each other, but we getting blocked out of everything else. You know, they don't want us around. Not the real ones, man. So, it is what it is, man. You got any more questions? You got some good ones, man.
While in the pen, what kept you sane? What kept you, you know, level-minded?
Well, I was level-minded, and sometimes I was insane. It really depended, man. But so the hope of getting free was that balancing act, where I felt like, you know what, I might have a shot at getting up out this motherfucker. So that kept me sane. What drove me insane was when I had to deal with prison bullshit, you know, disrespectful motherfuckers where no matter what, you know, I don't want to give you an issue, but you crossed the line, so you got to get the issue. You know, the extended shoe terms that I had to do, sitting in the hole in the isolation, you know, that type of shit brought just more pain. You know, the loss of both of my parents while I was in there, you know, just a whole lot, you know, not being able to be out to watch my daughter grow up and shit like that. Kind of also brought pain, man. Right. What kept me from going insane was the hope of getting free one day. That was it. If it wasn't for that, I'd have been probably on death row, man. Straight up.
I'm so glad you here, bro. I'm serious in a motherfucker, man. And he'll tell you, I talk about you all the time, man. You know, especially when I was in the county jail that time, y'all was all upstairs. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Dude came with the potato chips, sounds. You wanna, oh, you busters up in there, get back, sit down. I say, bro, don't talk like that to me, bro. I'm talking to all y'all. I said, bro. Then dude said, hey, man, your homeboy PJ and them is upstairs. I said, oh, tell PJ to come down. And you slap that stuff. After he was finna marry one of the homegirls.
It sure was.
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
Yeah. But they don't know, man. What I love about Cap, man, is he gonna speak his mind. You know? And he don't always speak it the way people want him to speak. And that's what we miss in the 60s. It's too many yes men today, man. Just be you, man. You know? Be you. But also I like to add one more name I miss, man. And that's my boy Crip Crazy. You know, Jody. That's my guy. He was also on the front lines with us back in the day. So I can't leave him out. Lil Earl Dog and a few other notables, man. And we here, we love each other. And we with this real, you know, getting together and holding it tight, man, and building.
We gonna come back, you know, man. We gonna chop it up.
Right.
We gonna get on another page, brother. But we got the man upstairs, man. I tell everybody this. I don't care what nobody say. The ones that we was naming, them was my likables. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and somebody else we forgot about, Daryl Drake.
Oh, Big Fee.
Big Fee.
Yeah, Big
That's
Fee.
about Big Fee.
Big Fee. I got some fun memories of Big Fee. You know? Man, he stood about 6'3", man. 6'2", 6'3", and had hands, man, and had no muscles. Skinny as a motherfucker, man, about your size. Could nobody touch him, man. That was the big homie, Big Fee, Daryl Drake. I remember, man, when I was a youngster, something had taken place at the skating ring with us and some officers. And there was some popping off, and I remember Drake say, "Hey, man, everybody that got a gun, man, that was on the scene that day, check them in." So I was like, check them in? I'm not checking in my gun. But back then, you know, guns, if you held on to them and they had shit on them, you was gone forever. So he was like, "Hey, man, we gotta start dumping some of these firearms off." So he took my gun from me, I'll never forget, but he replaced it with a brand new 357 Magnum, man. Oh, Fee, man, he was a good homie. Loved me to death. Another one gone too soon, man. Gone too soon.
You know, you said you went to Horseman. How was Horseman back?
Horseman, back in the days, man, we had a lot of, I used to fight my homie Crip Crazy all the time. But we didn't fight much, but we always growled at each other a lot. Me, him, and Jody. I mean, me and Jody, that's his real name, Jody. And today, man, we best friends, man. Horseman was about squabbling. You had to have hands to go to Horseman, or you was gonna get revealed, man. Your cowardice was gonna be reflected, and you was gonna get slapped up all the time at that school. That's what I remember about Horseman. That and hanging out at Stark Castle. Go to class, after class, everybody meeting up at Stark Castle. Right there, I mean at, damn, what's the name of the little spot? On Western and Florence. They had a Stark Castle inside the motherfucker. I can't think of the name of it, it's been so many years. But yeah, we had a good time hanging out. That's where a lot of those early relationships started at Horseman. Yeah.
So, any experience with Lil Fee?
I didn't really have no experience with Lil Fee, man. And that's crazy because we kind of like missed each other, man. When he was in the youth authority, I was in camp. When I got out of camp, he was already back fighting those murders. So me and Lil Fee never got a chance to cross paths. I have heard a lot about him. I'm sure he's heard a lot about me. We've written letters to each other before, but as far as just formally ever meeting and embracing, I don't have that experience with Lil Fee.
How do you feel about Tookie passing when they execution?
I think, man, Took got a bad shot, man. I just think that he didn't deserve that, man. You know, they always talking about redemption. You know, you do wrong and then there's a pathway for redemption. And when you take that pathway to redeem oneself, then the government still kill you. I think that was wrong, man, how they did Tookie. I just really believe that he had did enough to show that he was somebody else. And for those reasons, he would have been better off to the youth, keeping him alive, man, versus killing him. That didn't make no sense to me at all. And the system, man, is just fucked up like that. It's not really designed for you to get better. The scale of justice and all that, in my opinion, is just a lot of rhetoric, man. Really is, you know, there's a class separation. You're either on this side or that side. And if you're on the left, then, you know, the right ain't got nothing for you. And if you spiraling down, they're gonna make sure you don't never get back up. Prime example of what happened to me. I never was supposed to walk out of prison alive, but I did. I wasn't supposed to walk out alive. Why? Because I had too much in my mind. See, they know the gangbanging shit, but then there's some other shit going on in my mind that they didn't want to let out. And that's the power and the ability to bring people together, to unite. You know what I mean? They didn't want me to come out here with that type of information, exposing their corrupt system, talking to young dudes or talking to homies and telling them, hey man, you know what? Let's run this play this way. Let's be positive. Let's rebuild the community. The Rollin 60's can do all that. I was just telling one of my partners, I was like, you ain't got to reach all the way across the board and get all these different hoods involved. It starts right with the Rollin 60's. If we come up with a feasible plan of what we want to do, and we start investing in our own community and in our youth, we can turn this shit around without the police involvement. Dudes can start, you know, we can start getting these funds and shit that these third parties been running off with, creating programs and never putting none of the money into. We can do that shit out on our own. The same shit Big U and them doing, but I think it can be done on a bigger scale, a grander scale, where the real can get kickbacks and be on payrolls too. You know what I mean? They don't want that type of mind out here, man. They want somebody to just go sit in that penitentiary, either die if you got a life sentence there, or get released, come out here, kill somebody and go back for the rest of your life, or get killed. That's how this system is designed, unless you free yourself. And that's what Took talked about in Blue Rage, Black Redemption. I got so much game out of that. Reading that read, man, changed a lot about the way I saw things. And it was really the Black redemptive part. Blue Rage, he's in his crippin' days, he got a lot of rage in him. And then Black Redemption. What does that mean? You know, he's self-evaluating. He's in introspect. He's in retrospect. He's saying, hey man, you know, we got it wrong. Let's try to do it different. We can still hold on to the titles, but let's build. And they kill him, man. And then that message is lost. Why? Because the author ain't nowhere around. You know? So it gets real in the field, man, with this shit. You know? Yeah. But that's where I'm at with it, man. Each one teach one.
You want to leave any words for the youth who want to who want to follow your lifestyle and just let them know?
For the youth that's already entrenched, I suggest that, you know, he look at those that has been through something, a real struggle, and if he see that their lives is on the right path, to take that track and walk it. But for those that ain't never walked, talked, or been in the race, I don't advise the youth to follow that pattern. And you know why? They can't tell them nothing real, they can't teach them nothing real, they can't show them nothing real. And for the youth that's looking at them speak, he don't have no faith in them anyway, because he know he ain't never been nowhere. So my final words would be to someone young: stay in school, don't be a fool, trust and listen to your parents, don't get caught up on no hard drugs, and live your life, man, and be a man. That's what I would say to the young men that's out there struggling in these streets. Yeah.
Thank you, PJ. We appreciate the interview. Thank you for giving us your piece, your words.
All the time.
Thank you.